everyone, it's Brandon.
And Walt with All American Thrills.
Today we have a very special guest with us.
We had the opportunity to interview John Wood from Sally Corporation.
John Wood is actually the CEO of Sally, so we're just going to get right in here. John, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to talk with us. Our first question is, what exactly does Sally do, maybe for those who don't know?
All right, well, Sally is a relatively old company in this industry. We've been celebrating our 37th year. And we started building animatronics 37 years ago, moving and talking figures. At the time, they were motorized, but still computer controlled. And then it evolved into becoming more of instead of a hardware manufacturing, the production of entertainment. And that entertainment included animated musical shows during the Chuck E. Cheese era and evolved into dark rides shortly thereafter. The two were obvious choices. Disney had created both of those venues for animatronics very effectively. The Country Bear Jamboree is still popular today, and any other, the Bird Show and everything else, the Tiki Show. And of course, dark rides were the most interesting to us, but it was because we built the primary actors. And so our company expanded to include a lot of the services beyond the animatronics, the special effects, the show control, lighting design, programming, scenic, and blacklight works. So we were able to, I guess, expand horizontally and create a broader surface within that dark ride parameter that we actually controlled and produced. The key to that decision to go into dark rides, though, was in developing our own design department, creative design department. And we've had a creative design department now for, well, since the late 80s and early 90s. And so they're able to create the concepts that then we eventually produce, sell, and ride.
Right.
The second question would be, so what's your role within Sally Corporation?
I've always been the promoter, the rainmaker, the guy that was, I'm the largest shareholder, I'm the CEO. I originally, though, was vice president of marketing and sales. I had enough hot air, I guess, to sell people on the idea of buying robots.
So we've seen Sally's definitely evolve. Reese's Extreme Cup Challenge at Hershey Park seemed to have broken many records for your company. Would you call that, or would you agree that that kind of was the beginning of your modern dark ride for Sally?
Well, the dark rides have morphed along the way. There are a lot of different varieties. We started with, as far as interactive rides, we started with a very simple shooting gallery marries the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride kind of concept. Mm-hmm. With the Great Pistolero as a start, it was relatively simple. You shoot at a target, you get the score, the light goes out, and there's some animation or sound that takes place. And that was fine, and until we got into a situation where we wanted to have multiple endings, which is what we did in King Tut, in the Challenge of Tutankhamun in Belgium, where we had to get this interactive system smarter so that it could communicate to the ride system and ride control system and actually affect the ride, where the car would go, whether it would turn left at the end or turn right for an additional gameplay. So Challenge of Tutankhamun, the uniqueness of that one was 3 different endings depending on gameplay.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the uniqueness or the inspiration for Reese's Extreme Cup Challenge?
In the case of Hershey's, we worked very closely on a design build with the Hershey marketing people, and they really wanted to tie the dark ride into their products. Park people wanted to have a ride that did tie into their product lines for the foods. And we thought of quite a few and came up with this extreme, we called it the Incredibowl originally, because they had so many different products. The Twizzlers, which are not chocolate at all. There are just quite a few products that Hershey, the Jolly Ranchers as an example too. So we were going to take each one of these product categories and pretty much use that theme for decoration of this extreme sport concept. And it evolved into being, why don't we make it a competition between the peanut butter lovers and the chocolate lovers, and make it the Reese's Extreme Cup Challenge. And so the Incredibowl became Reese's Extreme Cup Challenge. We had to then develop the technology that would allow us to download the scores 3 times during the ride, so that we could enhance that competitive nature, because this was much less of a storytelling ride and much more of a competitive adventure than anything we had done. It was basically a shooting gallery that was themed. It was just, there just isn't any real dialogue involved. If there wasn't this backstory of this extreme sports competition taking place between chocolate lovers and peanut butter lovers, then we've been hard-pressed to have a story basis of it, just because of the direction that we had from the customer. So that was the uniqueness. Now, we've since also gone off into Thailand and Scream in the Dark and created a system that the louder you screamed, the more targets would become activated. So the louder you screamed, the more money, the more points you could score. We've just tried to put different twists into the interactive approach. And we're doing the same thing now with our mixed media interactive attractions. We're shooting at video and at tangible targets. And so it's a whole different type of interactive experience. And now with the new Six Flags opportunity, we're actually combining simulation as well. So we're using a DOF vehicle that will interface with not only the environment of Metropolis, but also the virtual environment of Metropolis as we encounter these large screens that appear to be buildings and subways and other places that we're visiting.
So another one of your big projects is the House of Nightmares, which I don't think many people have been following. We find it very interesting, so can you tell us a little bit about that project?
It is all boxed up in the back and is getting ready to go overseas. We'll meet it over there in about a month, and it is also a custom designed, developed attraction by Sally. And we entered into a design with the intent to build, which is what we do often with our customers who want a custom attraction, and presented 6 different ideas. All of us went over there. I went over as well. We saw it's an existing walkthrough haunted house that had just, had given them 25 years or so of good service. It was time to make it into a new attraction, but keep the same basic premise that it's a haunted house. And it's a add-on attraction. They have to pay additional to go through this. And it's a walkthrough, which is different for us. We've done some good walkthroughs. Indiana Beach, Frankenstein's Castle is a great walkthrough, award-winning. And we've done a number of others, but most of what we do are ride attractions for capacity's purpose. And the House of Nightmares story is, there's this gentleman that was an American named Dr. Morpheo, who had a television program back in the early days of television that would interview people. He was a psychiatrist. Interview people about their dreams, and particularly about their nightmares. And his intrigue with nightmares led him to creating the nightmare extraction devices that allowed him to extract these nightmares from the people. The problem is they still didn't go anywhere, and he was able to bottle them up. So as you go through the House of Nightmares, you'll encounter just about every phobia that you could possibly encounter. Snakes, spiders, clowns, haunted toys. Hopefully we're going to get a few screams out of it. Anyway, it's going to be a great attraction. We're really pumped up about it, and it's been a great collaboration with one of the finest old European parks in the world.
And please make sure you go and visit the Sally Corporation's website. Take a look at the promotional marketing materials that they have up there. The promotion for this ride is amazing.
The industry is so much fun. When you encounter the entrepreneurial, the old showman element with your customer every year, and they, this classic example, they dream up, they're just as crazy as we are. They dream up some great ideas. This was totally their idea, they never even told us about it until we saw it on YouTube. And we were blown away as well. It's cool.
We asked some of our readers for questions that they had for you, and one of the ones that we got was, how long does it take to design one of the huge animatronics, such as the one that we saw at IAAPA convention of the Joker?
Well, my answer is it depends, because we do have limited resources and talented people that can build these things. You just can't have dozens and dozens of them unless you've got that many orders. And so sometimes we have to wait until we've got a clearance in our production envelope. But a custom attraction that we have to sculpt, a custom character that we have to sculpt, is usually 4 to 5 months from the date we can start. And we used to quote 120 days on a custom attraction, custom character, and 90 days on standard. But I don't know that that's the case any longer. Joker was, as you know, integrated with a custom vehicle.
Right.
And that vehicle was harder to build than the Joker for us, because Joker's still a human with a custom face. We build humans all the time. We don't build chaos-causing cannons every day. And this was a multi-mold piece, had to be aged, had to look just right. It's animated as well, and it has to deliver a good blast of air and smoke. So it's a complicated machine. The two combined are probably every bit of 4 months. No, every bit of maybe 8 weeks.
So, will we see any other large or impressive effects in the new Justice League Dark Rides at the 2 Six Flags parks?
We saw Cyborg as well as Joker, and those are the two primary animatronic figures in the ride. We've got some very big show action equipment that is also in the ride, and it's got 7 screens, so it's a lot of media as well.
So what's your most anticipated project of 2015 then?
Oh, unquestionably, these Justice League rides. I mean, this truly is taking it to a new level, guys. This is, we were challenged by Gary's story maybe as long as 10 years ago to build a Spider-Man-like attraction for him. And while this is not a Spider-Man-like attraction, my initial response to Gary was, I know it's a dark ride, Gary, but I'm not a film producer. My company builds animatronics. We build immersive sets. This is not our style. But it needed to become our style. And we needed to develop that element in our arsenal to be able to do mixed media and in our own way. And it just took us a while to be able to find the right partners and develop the right design skills to be able to put them all together.
As you know, All American Thrills is a family-friendly website, and a lot of families visit parks. So one question that we got from our readers was, how will kids react to the new Justice League Dark Rides?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be fine. I mean, I don't think that while Six Flags is their primary market is the thrill seeker, no question about it, and that's their mantra. We're reminded of it all the time, that their segment of the family market is small. They're really enjoy the teenagers and young families, young adults. However, that's an opportunity, because there are a lot of families out there that love amusement parks and theme parks, and so I believe that our broad spectrum appeal, from the grandchildren to the grandparents, even though it will be thrilling, is going to really pay off big dividends for our client.
Can we expect Sally to replicate or do any more exciting projects using this new technology?
I think you can. I think that we're a constantly evolving entity, just like I guess the roller coasters are too. We may have been around for a long time, but they're always getting a little bit better, a little bit tougher to ride, a little bit harder, a little higher, a little faster. And you have to do the same thing with dark rides. Although I will say this, the dark rides aren't at the level as far as density and locations, numbers. Hundreds get built and only a few dark rides. And the dark rides seem to remain popular, even though some of them are pretty bad. Not ours, but some of the ones that we're replacing or that enthusiasts are wanting to keep alive just because of nostalgia. They're still popular. So We have a lot of resilience, a lot of what I would call an evergreen component of our product. I think that you're going to see similar attractions. I think it's going to be so popular that there's going to be quite a few that want it. And we've got such an incredible amount of development in Malaysia and in Dubai and in China that, and in some of those places, indoor attractions are the best attractions.
Right. Very recently, especially, we're seeing a lot of parks deliver new dark rides. Do you think that parks will shift some of their focus away from big coasters and more on a dark ride experience?
No.
No.
No, I don't know. I think that they're going to supplement their coaster buying with dark rides.
Okay.
We'll never knock the big guy off the seat. Dick Kinzel was not a fan of dark rides. And, you know, and he was the man at Cedar Fair for a long time. Now, I'm not saying he didn't really like them, he just didn't like them a lot. And so we needed Dick to finally retire, which he did before Cedar Fair brought in an ex-Disney guy who did like dark rides. Things started happening. Six Flags has been interested in doing something with their Justice League property for a long time, but it didn't. Most of the ride concepts didn't fit their mantra. And they pushed us real hard when we were in the design development of this to notch it up, bring it up, you know. Did.
Right. So we're seeing a lot of new technology and a lot of innovation in these Justice League dark rides. How long has those been in development?
Well, we opened Australia in September 2012. So it's been 2 years and 2 months. And we were talking to Six Flags at that time.
Our other questions we got from our Facebook page was about the ride Knights in White Satin. What was the inspiration and what was the process of developing that ride?
Well, of course, we designed and built the Knights in White Satin for with the Moody Blues and for the Hard Rock Park. But when Hard Rock Park went under and someone else had to take it up, they did not pick up the Hard Rock license, nor any of the licenses to neither music or rock bands. They had to remove all references to those licenses or pay a lot of money. And that's the reason why there was only one season of Knights in White Satin, because it came with some baggage called a license fee that the new owners, A, didn't have, B, didn't want to spend. And so they had to repurpose the ride around the ride vehicles, around the sets and stuff that we did. They really changed it drastically. Not for the better, but it would be hard to match Knights in White Satin with a Band-Aid.
Right. Has the dark ride's popularity changed over the years? Has it swung one direction or the other, or is it still with the core enthusiasts?
No, I think that all elements are evolving, Walt. But you guys aren't as old as I am, haven't been around as long as I have, but let's talk about the history of dark rides for a second. In the old days with Bill Tracy creating Wacky Shack, and they were simply, very simple rides. The Tunnel of Love was an extremely simple ride. They just needed a way to get away from mom and dad and kiss. Pretty much the mission was to prove that a dark ride could withstand, if it was built right and it looked good and it worked well, people would not abuse it. And that's proven to us time and time again. And the key of all this was to give them something to do with their hands in particular, and the interactivity pulled a gun cable on top of the lap bar where it was difficult now for anybody to get out, even though the ride vehicle was only going 2 feet per second. And besides that, they didn't want to get out. They wanted to play the games. So our rides have held up extremely well, have not been difficult to maintain, and first and foremost, we were able to prove to that public, to that buyer, the dark ride is a viable entertainment vehicle in today's theme parks. They didn't have to measure up to the Disney level to still be popular. They had to maintain the level of quality that would be expected, or even more than what would be expected by the public. But they didn't always have to measure up to Pirates of the Caribbean when they did a dark ride for it to be popular. we were able to get facts and figures enough to really prove that. So I take great pride in the fact that we just kept on chiseling. We just kept on working. You know, we kept on trying to sell and convincing people that look how it's doing over here. Look at that line over there. And you know, we're in our 10th year, have never had to do a thing. 15th year, we're in our 20th year, and the more tenure the dark rides and the more people who accepted the fact that, hey, this is working. Our families like it. That we were able to convert those non-believers, becoming dark ride believers again, and that's where we are today. And that's why I think you see the momentum. Not only has it continued to be driven by Disney and Universal with their great dark attractions, but also with the suppliers who respond by creating something creative that fits their budgets, their needs, their market.
I know for myself and for Brandon, we're very competitive. We love working together. Even more, we love our fun of being on RXCC and competing against each other.
I'm always gotta be chocolate.
I always gotta be peanut butter. It's the way it is.
Well, and you're not the only ones. You know, when our guys get on one of these rides, they're shoot, boom, 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 boom. One of the most exciting things for me, this year I went over to Amsterdam to the EAS show and saw all of our European customers, which was great, but also took some time afterwards to go to Wallaby and ride our Challenge of Tutankhamun, my favorite ride. And it's been in the park for a dozen years. It's got 55 animatronic figures and live fire and significant scenery and really elaborate special effects. So it would not be a simple thing to keep in good shape. But the director of operations there at the park told me something that really got me excited. It's his favorite ride. So this is my favorite ride in the park. Matter of fact, I ride it every morning to be sure that it's working. And he said, and I've got the highest score too. I said, well, we're going to have to test that. So we rode together. He beat me like a stepchild. He was so good. He had a double aim, and he was, you know, knocking out every one. He knew where the special targets were and where the bump scores were going to be. He had 136,000 points. I had 13,000 points.
Well, practice makes perfect.
I guess so. But it's their #1 attraction in the park.
Do you have any special tips or tricks you might be able to tell us about how to maximize your points with the new Six Flags attractions being installed this year?
We haven't set those up yet. Rest assured that there will be some special elements that you need to learn about, hear about, or discover yourself that will have reward to it.
Well, John, we don't want to take up your whole afternoon, so do you have any closing comments or remarks for our viewers out there?
I really can't divulge what we're working on in the future, but I do want to sincerely thank those that enjoy what we do. In this business, getting that gratification from having happy customers is just about as important as getting paid. And if you didn't have passion about the products that we were creating, it wouldn't be fun coming to work. And it's fun coming to work every day at Sally, or I wouldn't have done it for 37 years.
All right, John. Well, thank you so much for your time today. We've learned a lot of new things, and this has been very interesting.
We totally enjoyed the time that we spent with you. I'm Walt. This is Brandon.
And thank you for watching this interview with John Wood of Sally Corporation. We'll see you, everyone.